having achieved what we have achieved, despite the chaos around us, is in itself, something to be proud of for us and for the team.
هيا اركبي في السيارة.
I'm Rabi Sweidan, a creator and a co-producer of Alephia 2053, a thriller in animated form that takes place in a fictional Arab country in the year 2053. The movie was launched on 21st of March, 21/03/21, and it has until now been viewed around 7.2 million times on YouTube. It's a wonderful result.
So where did the idea for the film come from?
Yes, the idea is quite simple. Like all creative ideas, they usually happen over, like sitting around with friends and colleagues, and we were just discussing and observing how in the entire of the Middle East, cinematography or film industry or entertainment industry broadly, you would have thousands, if not tens of thousands of hours dedicated to reimagining past that may or may not be true, a lot of historical movies, but there is nothing about the future. Nobody ever talks about, what might be. And that was the idea. It was like, wouldn't it be nice that we develop something, not that talks about an improbable past, but maybe talk about a plausible future. That's how the whole idea started.
You say there's a lack of films about the future. Is there also a lack of films just generally in science fiction?
Yes, I think I don't know the details about it, but probably it goes in the motivation for it is nostalgia is very big in the Middle East. They like to look back and be nostalgic, and it's absolutely wonderful. Who of us doesn't sort of think back and happy memories and be happy? But if you live in the past, nostalgia becomes a bit, in our humble view, some kind of a sedating drug that prevents you from looking forward.
What were your inspirations on this film?
So as we were talking before, I was born in the 1970, so I was a teenager in the 80s. That in itself, that period of time, a generation ago, if we think about it, there was also chaos around the world. Nuclear proliferation, economic uncertainty, inequality has been happening. War in Lebanon, it was pretty much so for a 14 to 15-year-old, that was a dystopian existence, in a way. And the clear inspiration for me, and back then, was a book called The Watchmen. It's a comic book. I'm a comic book geek by Alan Moore. And for me, that stayed. You read it when you're 16 or 17. Back then we didn't have internet, you had to go to the bookstore and then find it and wait for it. And to me that stayed, and Alan Moore's vision of the future or lessons of what might happen, never left me. So we thought, wouldn't it be nice to do something about, again, I repeat, about a Middle Eastern future.
Do you feel that Lebanon needs a superhero?
Not Lebanon. I think once we started doing this idea, it was in 2017. So the situation wasn't about Lebanon at all, to be fair. And I'll get back to that point. It started in 2017, so it was a global observation. And if you look at the world, and I'm not talking about the Middle East particularly, if you look around the world in 2017. The whole world was witnessing a dramatic shift in perspectives. Inequality was becoming a reality, climate change, technology overtaking, was growing faster than people can adapt to it. So all of these were some kind of a trigger for us to say, where are we going? Of course, the Middle East, take that, what I told you, and put it on steroids, and you would get the Middle East. So it was more exasperated in the Middle East. And that's why we've put our perspective and our foresight of what might happen in the Middle East specifically. But it's a global trend.
Do you feel that telling a dystopian story helps you to explain what's happening?
Yes, absolutely. A dystopian story, in general, it allows you to imagine, and you're free to imagine what might happen. I would like to talk about Alephia in particular. It's of course, it's set in an alternate reality, but that mirrors current affairs. So at the end of the day, it needs to be relevant. We can't have a story like superhero movies like produced by Hollywood, whereby the budgets are high and the contexts are a little bit different. The Middle East, Lebanon, as you said, may not need a hero, but they need a collective savior mindset of looking at the present to prevent a potential dystopian past.
You mentioned about the fact that obviously you're not Hollywood. What are the challenges in making such a film in the Middle East?
This is the first ever in the Middle East animated long movie, like a long métrage in an animated form. We do not have a lot of history in doing that, but we have fabulous talent. You know, the illustrator and the director of the movie, Georges Aboumhaya, is world class. You know, Jules, who worked on the creative direction, Bassem, who helped co-write the script, Marwan, who helped executive produce, Nico Janho, who helped animate part of the movie. These are fabulous talents, but we don't have the opportunity. We work in silos. These are the big challenges for us.
How did the team come together?
Georges and I know each other from a long time, and we're a fan of each other's work. Jules, Marwan, Nico are, partners and employees in Spring Communications and its entertainment department. So they are in-house, and Bassem is a very, very close collaborator with us.
The film has, I believe, 7 million views now.
7.2. We're counting every view, and we're very happy.
As you should. So, I mean, obviously, well, you say you're very happy, but how does it feel to have made such a film, which was obviously quite experimental, and to see that it's been met with success?
It's the first time that we feel that we've done something, I sound like a broken record, but for us and by us, and that in itself, to get noticed, to be sitting here talking to you, that in itself is a wonderful success story. Whether it gets bigger attention or even more bigger attention, I believe that having achieved what we have achieved, despite the chaos around us, despite the instability and the macro environment that's currently in the Middle East, I believe having pulled that off is in itself, something to be proud of for us and for the team.
Do you think this is going to pave the way for more of, similar kind of fiction in the region, or science fiction in the region?
I hope so. There are in the region, led by much richer companies or governments, or communication is being considered a strategic pillar of industry. Regrettably, in the small size of Lebanon, because of what has happened over the past years, a lot of this talent is dissipating, going elsewhere. The one thing that I would say is that in the other countries, they regrettably at this stage don't have the talent that we have. And that's why they're relying on learning from Japan or like Korea, the art of animation and how to build and design characters. This is hard work, like here in France, you have Angoulême, which is like in many ways the mecca of bande dessinée, and it's an industry in itself. I hope this will be a breakthrough or a wake-up call to say, you know what, we could do this. Can we actually make it happen?
Okay, and what are your future projects? What's in the works?
Alephia comes at the back of also a first, interactive viewing experience that we did about 3 or 4 years ago in the Middle East, called Undocumented. It was an award-winning show, and by the coming few days we have prepared and we are launching here in France a mini-series. It is not in animated form, it's actually in real life. A mini-series called Virtu. We developed it for what we call transportainment. So basically it's entertainment for being on the metro or on the bus going from point A to point B. It's, we hope it will be also recognized and noticed here in France.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.